Hi once again. It's another beautiful summer morning here in the Pacific Northwest. I think the weather's finally got locked in to a constant sunny blue skies and pleasant weather for the rest of the next 2 months, I hope. I've been looking at a lot of videos of other RVers that I like and what they're doing right now this month in different places. And it suddenly hit me, why the hell am I sitting here? Maybe I don't have enough money right now to go pay for a campsite or put gas in the tank because I'm paying off some other things I had done. But I thought, I still can get out there, drive around the country, maybe explore some campgrounds, campsites that I want to make reservations in here in the near future, and find a place that's going to fit right for my RV. So I think what I'm going to be doing here in the real near future is taking my dogs out in the RV and taking you guys along and going out here into the mountains and showing you what it's like out here where I live, away from the stupid, plugged up, constipated cities. Yeah, I don't like cities. You're not going to find me exploring cities and restaurants and all that stuff like all these others do. I was raised in the country, in a small city that everybody pretty much knew each other, and Friday nights, Saturday nights, the kids would go down to the main part of the town or the little city and would cruise, like in California, American Graffiti, yeah. I used to Clorox my tires. I had a 1969 Firebird 400 with some nice meaty tires on the rear, and I'd Clorox them, then go downtown to the only main street in the city, and we'd all pack in there and go up and down just like in California, and you get to a stop sign, or not, a stop light, and you just hold the brake down and hit the gas, and those tires go, and you look in your rearview mirror, and all of a sudden the car that's kissing your bumper behind you with other kids in it disappears in a huge cloud of white smoke. It was a great thing to do if they were giving you hell. But yeah, to get back to the main topic, I think I'm going to get the hell out of here because I can really depend on the weather now. We're in that part of the year, and get the dogs used to riding in the RV and go places and show you guys some of the places out here that we can explore and visit. Angel gets her last set of puppy shots here in another day or two. Spirit's going in today for her annual checkup and rabies booster. She's fine. So I'll be ready to get out of here, take both the dogs. I think I'll try putting that kennel in the RV, and I'll get Angel used to riding in that in the RV. Then I can take him out and walk him around and just explore different campsites and figure out which one I want to reserve that would be best for my RV. Now the problem I got having two dogs, I've got 15-foot leads anchored to the inside D-ring of the RV that I put them on so they can go around each end of the RV, and they can go in and out of the RV but still be under control and not in any danger. So that way I can take them out, get them used to traveling in the RV, and explore some places around here that I'm interested in, and just get them out in the wilderness more, so they're used to it. Spirit's used to it. She's been all over the Southwest and everywhere. It's Angel I have to start getting acclimated to different places up here that we go, and other places we might visit in the future. So I hope that will entice you guys to stay with us and watch us, because I don't know, it's kind of I feel like I've always been waiting. I'm always waiting for something, and the other shoe to drop. I guess that's the way I was raised, things are never as good as they seem, because you know there's going to be something right behind it that's going to nullify what happened that was good. You know, that's the way my life has been. You know, my mom always had backhanded compliments. Like she'd say, "That's very nice, but," and that "but" killed whatever she said in the front. You know, this destroyed it. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I'm getting my crap together here at home. The lawn's great. It's dead. No worries. I'm working on trying to train the dogs on some kind of a schedule, but it's kind of difficult because sometimes my plans just kind of escape me. But anyway, that's getting old for you, you know. I saw it happen to my parents, so it's no surprise that it could possibly happen to me. I'm just forewarned. I recognize it, and I want to get back to enjoying the life I had before this information invaded my life. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting month. Get the dogs out, travel a little, you know, just driving to places. Get that damn biopsy done here, hopefully before the end of the month, because I got to go and see another one of my 3 cancer doctors, so they can tell me all this crap about, well, we found this out, we found that out, this thing's full of cancer, this thing's okay, this thing's going way away, you know, whatever the mumble jumble they got to tell me. But yeah, after seeing both your parents die, you don't have any fear of death anymore. So of course I got everything they had, you know. Talk about hoarders. If you ever saw that TV show Hoarders, that's what my parents' house looked like when they passed away. My God, it was a nightmare. It took me almost a month to clean that place out. Thousands of dollars to haul the crap away. Oh, Jesus. So I know that practically everything you own, yes, you own, eventually, if your kids have no interest in it, don't know the value of it, it's all going to end up at Salvation Sally's for pennies on the dollar. So clean out what you don't really need, keep what's more valuable to you, thin things out now. The only problem is that the things that are really worth value, people today don't understand. They don't value shit. You know, it's really sad. So maybe it's better to just hang on to what you got till you drop dead, because if you don't, you end up giving it away to people that don't know shit, don't know the value of it, the history of it. It's just an original painting to them could be, oh, I saw that at the thrift store. Bullshit, you're an idiot. It's just incredible. I've seen things years ago that I had as a child in the 50s. That's an antique now. You know, like Lionel, full-size Lionel trains. I'm going, damn, you know. I never thought I'd see my toys become an antique, you know. But yeah, that's what it is. Kids today have no respect for shit. They don't value shit. They don't know the value of shit. They think everything is shit. Hey guys, come on. The girls are up here. Hey, I'm trying to make a video. Calm down. Take your toys elsewhere. No. Yeah, okay. Angel's got her toy bear, and she's playing keep away. Good thing Kate's got thick fur. Not Kate. I'll never get these dogs' names straight. I've had so many I get them all mixed up. Maybe I'll just start calling Angel by my last dog's name, and because that pops into my head so much faster, and leave it at that, because it's confusing trying to stop looking at which dog is this. And she's got him down for the count. And Spirit's on her back with her legs up. And now she's up. Now they're wrestling. Now it's a reversal. Yeah, crazy, crazy dogs. Oh, and Spirit falls down the stairs. Well, not falls, just gallops. What? Oh, now you're going to hide from Spirit? Huh? You beat her up and then you... Oh, Spirit's got the toy and she's gone. Okay. Yep, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully it'll be the next video coming. It'll be a drive-through of some campgrounds out in the foothills of the Cascades. I want to check that out for some good camp spots. I print out campground maps of the different places. See, I got one right here behind me. I print those out off the website for Washington State Parks, and then I take it with me in a little colored pencil, and I mark off the campsites I check out. You know, I got like one color is for good, one color is for excellent, and other colors for maybe. So I have a really clear plan of which campsites in that campground would fit my RV and what their rating is according to my values. The thing I always have to look out for is since I have two dogs on two 15-foot leads anchored into the D-ring around the inside of the side door, that allows them to go out and around both sides of the RV and then back into the RV to the back coach seat to lay down. I have to find a campsite where I can back into and open the door towards the fire pit and the and the picnic table that doesn't have those damn big telephone pole logs or boulders that they can get their 15-foot leads wrapped around, and I'm always trying to unwrap them. I don't let my dogs run loose in campgrounds. I think it's irresponsible and just plain stupid, you know. I keep them always near me, under control, because, well, for one thing, they're important to me. They're like my kids. And I never let my kid run loose and terrorize everybody else's campsite or cause havoc. And I think that's the fault of the parent. They pop the kids out and then think, okay, he'll just do everything on his own, he's fine. It wasn't that way when I was growing up, you know. Hey, quit bumping. Okay, guys, well, that's it. I always seem to blabber too much, you know, and I'm watching the timer on this thing. So I hope you guys hang out there. The next video is coming. I plan on being a hell of a lot better than just watching me sit here babble. So yeah, this is summer, middle of July. I better get the hell busy and start enjoying this short summer we always have. And luckily, it'll go into September as an Indian summer, maybe even October, who knows. But right now, I'm not noticing any bees making nests or things like that. So that's good. Okay, the girls are downstairs terrorizing each other, so I better go. I want to say thanks for watching us again. Hang in there, guys. I'm working on cleaning out the RV, packing a few items for munching on, even on a road trip. And hopefully next visit, you guys will see us out and about. So, as we always say here, take care and God bless. Bye-bye.